And it saddened me, it hurt me actually to know that so many people have no idea. They're clueless as to what chiropractic is and does. And when they know, then they can build a relationship with you so that it's not just about coming in, getting an adjustment, walking out the door.
Hey, Smart Chiropractors. Welcome to another episode of Interviews by the Smart Chiropractor. I'm Dr. Jeff Langmaid here with my co-host, Dr. Jason Deitch. Today, we have the opportunity to sit down and chat with the founder of Northern Life Wellness, Big Fish Enterprises, and much more, Dr. Jeff Danielson. Jeff, thanks for chatting with us today.
Oh, great to see both of you guys.
It is our pleasure. I want to dive right in because there was a program that you have called TeamDoc that got our interest. And we were talking pre-roll, diving a little bit deeper. I'm excited to learn more. I think this is something every chiropractor listening should pay attention to. But let's pick it up right at the top with what is a TeamDoc?
Yeah, TeamDoc is my program that is designed to bring whatever quantity of new patients you want into your practice to bring them in. And for anybody that's been practicing long enough, you know that you've been asked about 100 times to sponsor a local team, little league, high school, local, beer softball team, etc. And I did it for 15 years. I threw money at different teams because they were my patients or friends or whatever, and they put my name on their shirts or jersey or whatever it was. And I got zero new patients from it, ever. I didn't expect any new patients from it. But about 10 years ago, I decided, there's got to be a way to monetize this. So there's got to be a way to bring people in. And so I figured it out. And I worked on it for about a year and a half, and we figured out how to do it. And so I designed a program where we get out and we sponsor these teams. And a lot of them are with the schools. And so it's kids. And so if you're listening to this and you're interested in having more kids, more athletes, and more families in your practice, that's the sweet spot for TeamDoc, because we go out and we get those in massive quantities. I build my practice on spinal screenings, and I don't do them anymore because this is so easy and so fast. I did 3 sponsorships last week. And we got 98 new patients scheduled from those 3 events. So, and the total time that we put in was about maybe 3.5, maybe 4 hours of actually going out to the schools or to where these teams were meeting. So 3.5, 4 hours of actual being in front of people and whatnot, 98 new patients on the books. And we've already started some of them as new patients. So it's quick, it's easy. And it's a lot of fun. If you want kids, families, and athletes, if you want senior citizens or auto accidents, that's not what this is.
That's another program.
That's a different.
I can't leave that hanging without, I'm sure everybody listening going, how does that work? So how does that work? How do you do that?
Yeah, well, we have a great system of connecting to it's really the booster moms that run the show with all the teams in the junior high, or whether it's in high school, et cetera. Or it's a lot of club sports. So it's not just connected with schools, but every sport has clubs now that are running year round. And those are great ones to get involved with as well. But we connect with the decision makers. We sponsor them by giving them money. We get them services. We get in front of those teams as well as the parents. And so we do a 7-minute talk, and it is absolute magic. It's 7 minutes where we get in, we do a quick demonstration. We get everybody laughing. We get the teams screaming and hollering and doing fun stuff. And then we get people to sign up for free services, and they come in and we build relationships. And I know we're going to get to this because you guys are relationship guys. But that is my heart and my soul, is building relationships with my community. We do not throw money at ads and, radio spots. And, we did all of that, newspaper stuff, magazines, all these crazy things. I even had an ad running at the local movie theater, where you see the commercials before the movie starts. All of that stuff brought me very little. I mean, it brought me some exposure, I'm sure, but But nothing brings people in the doors like what we're doing with TeamDoc. Last year alone, about 170 new patients last year in a COVID year. This year, we're already over that, and we still have 4 months left in the year.
Hey, Doc, the money is in your list. If you're not utilizing weekly email newsletters to drive reactivations into your practice, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. To schedule a demo and see how we help hundreds of docs do this each and every week, go to thesmartchiropractor.com today. Again, that is thesmartchiropractor.com. Schedule a demo with our team. But right now, we'll get back into this awesome interview on Interviews by the Smart Chiropractor. It's awesome. Let's dive deeper into the difference between transactional and relational. There's a lot of docs listening that probably maybe haven't thought about this or really dug deep enough to separate the two. You mentioned some of what you do from a relational aspect, TeamDoc being one of those. You mentioned some of what occurs in a transactional realm as far as the paid advertising, et cetera. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, having gone through both, having utilized both. What are the differences between building relationships versus transactions? And what have you seen are the benefits of the relationships over the transactions over time?
Yeah. No, if you really want to break it down, it comes down to PVA, right? It comes down to patient visit average. Are people staying with you? And if so, why? And if not, why? And when they in a practice where the PVA is low, they're not staying for very long because they haven't built a relationship, and they haven't built it because the doctor and the clinic is not focused on building it. And for those people that have a high PVA, they are obviously doing things that are connecting people so that they feel like they are a part of something, that they're a part of a tribe, they're part of a family, they're part of a movement. They're happy to be and they're proud to be. I've got patients. Even this morning, I was adjusting with a few patients, and there are people that literally say, "I'm a proud founding member of your clinic," and I'm like, "Yes, you are." Yeah, because they've been with me for 18 or 20 years. People are proud of that when they're proud of what the clinic does for them and what it means to them, and that starts with the report of findings in day 1 and day 2. I mean, it has to start there. Transactional clinics are about, what's wrong and can I help you with the issue that you walked in with? What pain do you have? And I'm going to make your pain go away. And now the transaction is done and exit. When it's more relational and they understand the why. Okay. I had a new front desk person start working for me 2 weeks ago. And this week she started as a patient, and she had no idea what chiropractic was. And after I, did my day 1, and then on a different day, did my day 2, this is with my employee, she was like, her brain was exploding. She's like, "I can't even believe this." And she was so excited about the whole Labor Day weekend. She was telling all of her family about what chiropractic was. And she was using the analogies that I gave her, which was, and your spine is like the electrical panel in your house, and each switch controls the power to a different organ or to a different room in your house. Well, your spine is the same way with your different organs. She was asking all of her family. Not a single one of them knew. And it saddened me. It hurt me, actually, to know that so many people have no idea. They're clueless as to what chiropractic is and does. And when they know, then they can build a relationship with you so that it's not just about coming in, getting an adjustment, walking out the door.
Jeff, I love it. I'm going to throw 2 questions your way. Take either or both, however you want to. The first one is, you mentioned a few moments ago in your explanation that this is really about your heart and soul. And I know you're about paying it forward. And I know you're a mentor to many, many, many chiropractors. God bless you for that. How much of that heart and soul do you think is essential in this idea of building relationships versus, the other perspective, which tends to be more, problem, solution, let's get the data, let's make sure we're, solving the problems, dotting I's, crossing T's. It's much more analytical versus, I guess, maybe even more emotional or more authentic, whatever that may be. That's the first question. The second one is, how do you then stay in touch with these people and build on those relationships? Is it only in the office? Are you using social media, email, other, events, other ways to kind of build these relationships over time, and maybe even invite new people into these relationships so that they get more of a sense of who you are and how you are before they go, oh, I need a chiropractor. Where's the closest, cheapest option?
No, great questions. I'm gonna answer the first one first by saying, what's awesome is that you don't have to choose between those two. You don't have to check your brain at the door and just be a passionate, emotional chiropractor that loves to love on people and human beings. I'm an analytical. I'm a nerd. I think I'm sitting in this call with two other nerds here. I mean, we are nerds. We love the analytical. I love explaining the subluxation. I love explaining how the spine works. I love explaining innate intelligence, if you can even do that. I love all of that part, that scientific part. And you don't have to check that at the door in order to have the relationship. It really, the best of both worlds. If you've got both, men, you are golden. If you're only going to have one, then it's going to feel slightly empty. If you're just about the subluxation and the ligaments and the muscles and the nerves, then it's not going to have heart, soul, and passion behind it. You're not going to have that long-term connection as easily. And likewise, if you're just all puff and fluff and rainbows and sunshine and, hey, buddy, it's got to have some meat behind it. So I really think you have to develop both. And it's not easy because none of us are really wired for both. I'm an introvert. Jeff, I think when you were talking, you were saying that you're an introvert as well. But I've learned to not be, because of my passion for how God made me. My faith is very strong that I need to share, what God has created. This amazing organism, this human body works, but it works best with no interference. And that's what I'm after, is to help people remove that interference. And so ultimately, when you can express your passion and have fun with people, build those relationships, while having the intelligence behind it, I think that's the best way. Then how do we do that? You asked, yes, all of it. And, we send newsletters. We're connected with people via email. We're connected with people via text, social media, whether it be Instagram, Facebook. We're starting to dabble in TikTok. Haven't quite figured that out. It's real time. It takes a lot of time and effort right now, but maybe you guys can figure that out for us so that we don't have to. Smart chiropractors should figure that out. But you got to take advantage of connecting with people wherever they're at and however they are out there. And sometimes I'm disappointed, I'm sure you guys are too, at how many people open your emails or open even the social media things. And that's why you've got to do multiple so that you can keep connecting. But when you're out there and you're pushing it out there, and once you have your systems created, it just automatically happens, right? You don't want to have to think about every little step. You want to create your systems for how they're going to get out there to people and how you're going to educate, how you're going to communicate. And then they just roll. They're in a rhythm.
Hey, it's Dr. Jason. I just want to take a brief moment and invite you to schedule a demo with our team to learn more about our patient pilot automated email campaigns. They are the smartest way to reactivate the people you've seen over the years in the past. Check it out. Schedule a demo. We look forward to helping you help more people, piloting your patients back into your practice. Now back to our show.
We couldn't agree more. We call it teach and invite consistently, and the consistently is the key. And the key to that is automating and ensuring that you have that flow going out so you can stay top of mind. For any docs listening that are, they've perhaps been curious, they're interested in going the TeamDoc route. Maybe they've been concerned about the return on investment and the time, whether it's the time or the money. As you having so much experience with this, helping so many docs, what would you say to everybody listening out there that has been thinking about doing it, but just hasn't got over the hump yet? What are maybe some of the hurdles that you would encourage them to mentally jump over and the benefits they can expect. We heard about the new patients, but I'd just love to hear the inside story from you.
I developed the program. It took me about a year and a half to really get it to work in my clinic. Then I decided to offer it to the other big fish clinics. These are the other clinics that I coach, and other clinics that I've bought and then sold. And then once they were successful with it, then I opened it up to any and all chiropractors that are interested. When I first brought it to everybody, I computed the numbers for my clinic, and my ROI was 52 to 1. 52 to 1. So, marketing in general, if you're getting a 3 to 1 return, if you can hand over $1 and get 3 back, you're doing good, right? And TeamDoc was at 52 to 1. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to get 52 to 1, and not everybody does, because not everybody wants that many new patients in their office. What's beautiful about it is it's a system where if you're having a slow month, or you're not sure that you don't really have anything on the schedule for events in your office, you don't know where the next new patient is coming from, it's pretty simple to just turn the spigot on and do a team sponsorship and get 11 new patients, get 26 new patients, or like one of the events last week we did was 39 new patients. So it's not hard, and it's easy. It takes the stress away from wondering where the next new people are coming from. So I guess that was the biggest benefit to me, is that I built a big practice, but then I never knew like where the next people were coming from. And I was always scrambling to find new spinal screening events. And it's easier to touch base with teams because they're everywhere. And we don't do just sports teams. It's trap shooting, and it's chess teams, and it's church groups, and it's Bible studies, and it's just groups of human beings. All you need is groups of human beings. The people that a program like TeamDoc, and I think you could say this. In fact, Jeff, I think you may have said this when you were on my podcast. If you think something's going to just do all the work for you, and you don't have to invest any time, any effort, any energy whatsoever, then you're just a freaking lazy chiropractor. I'm sorry.
How about like it is?
I'm just being honest. If you want to be successful, you have to do something. You have to have a mentor, and then actually take action on what you're being advised to do. That's one of my biggest frustrations in coaching is I can coach all day long and tell people, hey, here's what I would do and here's how I would do it. But if they don't do it, then they're not going to get the results. And TeamDoc is no different. It's easy. It's not hard, but it's not simple, meaning that, you don't just sit there in your office and have the people walk through the door. You actually have to take an effort and do something.
That makes sense. We always say results follow action. So action is what is absolutely key. So Jeff, thank you so much for sharing what you have. Everybody listening, I want to encourage you, click down below in the show notes. We're going to drop links to TeamDoc, everything that Jeff's up to. Connect with him. If you are allergic to spinal screenings, this is a program for you. or if you are just ready to build relationships with people in your community, this is a fantastic way to do it, and probably to take advantage in a positive way of those opportunities that are already passing you by, as Jeff mentioned. So Jeff, thank you so much for coming on. Docs listening, click down below, connect with Jeff, and maybe you will be a TeamDoc in your community. Jeff, thanks for chatting. Thank you so much for watching this video on the Smart Chiropractor. To not miss a single thing that's clinically oriented, marketing oriented, or more, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel today.